All right, welcome to the ICS 100 practice quiz. We prepare these questions to help you prepare for the final exam on FEMA's website. We'll go through 10 questions, 10 explanations of right and wrong answer choices and common pitfalls. So let's get into it. The exam is online and consists of 25 multiple choice questions. You need a 75% or higher to pass, and it's completely open book. So you can use your notes or course materials, you can retake the test if needed, and there's no time limit. If you're interested in a cheat sheet that was really designed to kind of have all the information and help you with this open book exam, definitely download the ICS 100 cheat sheet below, but there really shouldn't be much pressure. You went through the videos, you paid at least a little bit of attention. We'll go through these questions now, and hopefully you won't need any of that stuff. Here's what you'll see on the exam. They want you to know if you understand how ICS is organized, what each section does, and the core concepts that help you run it effectively. If you've watched our lessons, you've already seen all of this. So let's get into the questions. Question 1. What is the primary purpose of the incident command system? A, to create agency-specific response plans. B, to enable a coordinated response among various jurisdictions and agencies. C, to assign blame in the event of an incident. Or D, to eliminate the need for leadership in an emergency. Pause here if you need a second. When you're ready, we'll get into it. The correct answer is B, to enable a coordinated response among various jurisdictions and agencies. Here's why. A is incorrect because ICS is about coordination, not just about creating plans for one agency. B is correct because ICS is designed to bring together multiple agencies and jurisdictions in a unified, coordinated response. C is incorrect because ICS is not about post-incident analysis or accountability. And D is incorrect because ICS strengthens leadership, not replaces it. The common pitfall here is confusing ICS with administrative planning functions or a disciplinary system. That's not what it is. Hopefully this is an easy one. Question 2. What is the ideal span of control in ICS? Ideal. A, 1 supervisor for every 2 subordinates. B, 1 supervisor for every 10 subordinates. C, 1 supervisor for every 5 subordinates. Or D, 1 supervisor for every single responder. Pause here if you need a second. The correct answer is C, 1 supervisor for every 5 subordinates. Here's why. A is incorrect because it's too narrow, may underuse leadership resources. B is incorrect. 10 is the maximum, not the ideal. And C is correct because 5 is considered ideal for effective supervision. And obviously 1-to-1 is not efficient or scalable. The common pitfall here is students confusing the ideal span with the maximum span. Ideal span 5, maximum 10. Question 3. Which of the following is always activated in ICS, regardless of the incident size? A, logistics section. B, finance/administration section. C, incident commander. Or D, operations section. The correct answer is C, incident commander. Here's why. A is incorrect because logistics is created as needed. B is incorrect because it's not always needed. C is correct because there is always an incident commander. And D is incorrect because operations may not be needed in small incidents. The common pitfall here is thinking that all 5 functional areas are always activated. They exist. We should know they exist. They are not always activated. Question 4. The concept of unity of command means what? A. All agencies use the same radios. B. Each individual reports to only one supervisor. C. Everyone shares responsibility for command. Or D. Command is transferred regularly. The correct answer is B. Each individual reports to only one supervisor. Here's why. A is incorrect because that's part of the communication system, not unity of command. B is correct because each person in ICS reports to only one supervisor. And that's important so they don't get multiple versions of information or different directions from different people. C is incorrect because shared responsibility describes unified command. And D is incorrect because transfers happen only when they are necessary. The common pitfall here is that students confuse unity of command with unified command. Brush up on that if you missed this question for that reason. Question 5. What does the planning section do in ICS? A. Handles media and public information. B. Coordinates food, facilities, and responder rehab. C. Develops the incident action plan and tracks resources. Or D. Manages contracts and compensation claims. The answer here is C. Develops the incident action plan and tracks resources. Let's get into why. A is incorrect because that is the public information officer's role. B is incorrect because that's logistics. C is correct because planning develops the IAP, the incident action plan, tracks resources, and collects data. And D is incorrect because that's the finance/admin job. The common pitfall here is students confusing planning and logistics. Be comfortable with the differences. Question 6. Which ICS characteristic means that resources are only deployed when requested? A. Modular organization. B. Dispatch and deployment. C. Chain of command. Or D. Integrated communications. The correct answer is B. Dispatch and deployment. Here's why. A is incorrect because that refers to scalability. B is correct because there's no self-dispatching. Deployment is based on need. People just don't show up because they feel like, well, you might need my help. C is incorrect because chain of command is about reporting. And D is incorrect because this concerns communication systems. The common pitfall here is choosing modular organization because it sounds broadly applicable. That's not the case here. No self-dispatching. Deployment is based on need. Remember that. Question 7. Which command staff position is responsible for scene safety? A. Liaison officer. B. Planning section chief. C. Safety officer. Or D. Public information officer. The answer here is C. Safety officer. Here's why. A is incorrect because the liaison officer handles agency coordination. B is incorrect because planning doesn't manage safety. C is correct because safety officer monitors and enforces safety protocols. That makes sense. And D is incorrect because the PIO communicates with the public and the news media. This one was relatively easy. Safety officer has safety in the title. The common pitfall here is maybe confusing safety officer with planning chief due to overlapping responsibilities in incident monitoring in some cases. That kind of makes sense. But safety officer does safety. If that's an option, should be relatively simple. Question 8. Which ICS characteristic supports the use of clear, plain language? A. Accountability. B. Common terminology. C. Span of control. Or D. Unified command. The correct answer is B. Common terminology. Here's why. A is incorrect because accountability is about resource tracking. B is correct because common terminology avoids codes and jargon. For clarity, we use plain language. C is incorrect because span of control refers to supervision ratios. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And D is incorrect because unified command deals with multi-agency leadership. The common pitfall here is mistaking plain language as part of the communication system or unified command. This is really about common terminology. Question 9. In unified command, agencies do what? A. Surrender their authority to a single lead. B. Operate independently under their own structures. C. Collaborate to establish command objectives and strategies. Or D. Appoint separate incident commanders for each agency. The correct answer here is C. Collaborate to establish common objectives and strategies. Here's why. A is incorrect because no authority is surrendered. It's shared at best. Incorrect. B is incorrect because ICS discourages siloed operations. C is correct because unified command allows joint decisions and objectives. And D is incorrect because there is a single command structure, not competing ones. The common pitfall here is thinking unified command means multiple independent command centers, multiple independent incident commanders. That's not the case. Unified command allows joint decisions and objectives. And question 10. What is the Incident Action Plan, IAP? A. A plan used only for hazmat incidents. B. A verbal agreement among responders. C. A written or verbal plan outlining incident objectives and strategies. Or D. A post-incident critique report. The answer is C. A written or verbal plan outlining incident objectives and strategies. Here's why. A is incorrect because IAPs are used for all types of incidents. B is incorrect because while they can be verbal in small incidents, they are typically documented. C is correct because IAPs guide operational periods and include objectives and resource assignments. And D is incorrect because that's an after-action report, AAR, not the IAP. The common pitfall here is that students confuse the IAP with planning documents used after the incident, like the AAR. Know that IAPs guide operational periods and include objectives and resource assignments. So there you have it. Here are some more common pitfalls. Confusing unity of command versus unified command. If you need a refresher, go back to previous videos. Also, thinking all ICS sections are always activated. Not the case. Small incidents will have one incident commander, couple responders who are usually under that incident commander's control already, like the guys on the fire engine when the captain takes incident command on a multi-vehicle collision. Super simple. Not all sections are always activated. Forgetting ideal span of control. Ideal is 1 to 5. 1 supervisor, 2, 5 subordinates. Yes, you can go to 10. Ideal is 5. And misunderstanding planning versus logistics. If you need a little refresher on that, like I said, we've got plenty of nice videos. Go back and check on some of that stuff. These are the most common mistakes you see here. Take your time. Watch for these traps, especially when it comes to terminology that kind of sounds familiar or similar, like unity of command and unified command. So here are some study tools that help. Like I said, we have that 14 isms and structure breakdown that you can download that's available now on our Patreon. It is super helpful. It was designed to accompany you while taking the test from FEMA. Yes, it's open book, but sometimes open book exams are vague because you don't always have everything ready to go, referenced, easily when you need them. That's what this sheet was designed for. If you need some more help, we have a lot of explanations in the previous videos. If you haven't seen those already or you need a refresher. And hopefully these 10 FEMA style questions will help you get into the mindset and understand the way that you should approach this info. We've created these extra tools to help you, the printable cheat sheet, set of questions, and all the previous videos. So use these to reinforce your knowledge. And then when you're ready, jump into the exam. So when you're ready, you'll head to FEMA's site. You'll need the FEMA SID, which is the student ID. Which is their version of an account. Once logged in, click Take the Final Exam Online and begin. Good luck. You'll get your results right after submitting. Treat this like an open book test because you don't get any points for doing it off of memory and everyone else is doing it. There's no rush. If something looks unfamiliar, it's okay. Pause, look it up, and remember, this isn't about memorization. It's about understanding how ICS works in the field so that when you get there, you can fit into that system really nicely. And that's it. You've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and now, hopefully, the confidence. Go knock out that final exam, and once you do, come back for ICS 200. That's where the real field applications begin. We have some cool scenarios in there. Thanks again for watching. Please consider helping us out by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us as we try to grow this channel. If you have questions, drop them in the comments and consider subscribing to us for free on Patreon, where you can find even more info and more resources and ask us questions there as well. Good luck.